Live.
Ready?
You're live.
Hello, it's Valerie here. It's not Saturday. It's Friday, March. I don't know, 26th or something. 2020. And I have Tim here, my husband, in the booth here. He's handling things for me today. And so we're gonna do a wolf. Give you a second or two to get your materials together. Hopefully you're ready to go. I'm going to do one in color and one in black and white. In case you just have a pencil handy, I'm going to use charcoal because it's better, and then it also shows up as nice and dark, so you'll be able to see it well. And I mean, I guess that's all we need to know to get started. Is things looking good?
Yes.
Okay, so with the wolf, what I want you to see is that this is just a big half circle. Do you see it? A big rainbow. Okay? And the ears are, of course, what, Tim?
Triangles.
Triangles. And does he have big eyes or little eyes?
Little eyes.
He has little eyes, and does he have a big nose or a little nose?
A big nose. Big snout.
Nose. Yeah. Partly too because it's coming forward. So if you're gonna exaggerate it, go ahead, because it'll make it look like it's sticking out more the bigger that it is. So if we make pointy ears and we make a big black nose and some little eyes and it looks gray and whatever, then we're gonna definitely have a wolf. What?
You're gonna. Marianne, Wendy, and Helen are watching.
Awesome. Oh, great. Fantastic. Hey guys. Okay, and the one other thing I've noticed is that it's a little tricky to fit the whole thing on this piece of paper. So if you're draw a little bit on the larger side, which I tend to do, just kind of keep it toned back just a tiny bit. We're going to start with this line right up here between the ears, okay? Because that's a big thing with animals to figure out the difference between one and the other is looking at proportions. And a lot of times it's how far apart the ears are and how big the ears are. So I want you to be thinking about that. And because this piece of paper and our piece of paper are probably the same size, you can really just try to, just copy what you're seeing up here. So don't go quite as high because, again, you can't fit the ears on. But we're going to go pretty near the middle, maybe a little bit to the right side if you can, because there's this extra bit of white here. We don't need to have too much over here. So find about the middle of your page, go up, go a little bit to the side here, and maybe around here I want you to give me, I'll do a little darker. Do it lighter if you can, but I'm going to make a line about that big. Okay? And I'm going to do that with my charcoal. So I'll go along. I'll wind up doing everything twice. So right here, I'm going to do that about right here. Okay? And then this is the next thing I want you to do. I want you to be thinking about where the eyes are. And see how the fur is kind of gray here? It's not, the rainbow goes a little bit lower, but I want you to be thinking about here. So you're going to have this kind of really wide rainbow. So I want you to go from this line here, and I want you to find a spot maybe out here and out here. Okay? So it's not very far down, and I want you to turn that into a nice wide rainbow like that. Okay? Maybe down a little bit more. All right, same thing down, same thing over here. So I'm going to make those little dots. That just gives me something to help make it symmetrical and just to aim for, because I'm not going to get it right for sure the first time. I probably won't get it right anyway, but that's okay. All right. The next thing we're going to do is to put the ears on, okay? So you're thinking about this little black area here between the ears, which is called the negative space. And kind of use that to help see the direction and the angle of these ears. Because you don't want them sticking, if you stick them out like this, he's going to look, like he's mad, ready to attack or something. Or maybe sad, I don't know. They're not straight up and down, that might be a little rabbity, but just a little bit of a slant. And it should be where that first line is. You're looking at that. So I'm going to go up at a little bit of a slant like this. They're going to take me right up to the top of the page. The outside is pretty much straight up and down. So you're aiming kind of straight up and down. It might have to curve a little at the top, but you're coming kind of like this. All right? So same thing down here. I'm going to aim just a little. My angle is just a little bit slanted. And then I'm going to curve it a little bit at the top. And then I'm going to go pretty much straight down. Okay? Something like that. You got that, Tim?
Yep.
Okay. All right. The next thing we're going to do is that I want to mark where the eyes and the nose are. Okay? The eyes usually line up with the ears. Okay? You're thinking about how far apart they are. So if I look here and I think, well, there and there, they might be a little bit on the little close. But if I drop down from this ear and say there's a spot here, and this I want you to line up kind of with, these are all in one line. Does that make sense? So where you brought this rainbow to is about where the eyes are going to go. I made the dot, that's going to be the inside corner, and then I'm going to make a circle here and a circle here. Okay? Getting the proportions right is kind of the thing. Okay? So it's worth thinking a little bit about it. So same thing for this one. What I'm going to do, I'll look at these edges. I'm going to go from the ear here. I'm going to drop down and drop down here. And then I'm going to make that circle going to the outside. That should spread them apart about as much as they should be. Good? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the nose on. So the nose should be bigger than the eyes. Okay? Make it good sized. And to figure out where to put it, what you're doing is, let me do it with the other hand, is that if I measure with my thumb where the eyes are to the top of the forehead, that's the same distance to the nose. Okay? So measure, I might have to do it with this hand. Measure from the eyes to the top of the head, and then move your hand down like this, and that's going to be where the nose goes. And I'm going to give myself a nice big, don't get too low. If you have to, bring it up a little bit so that you don't run off the bottom of the page, but don't get any lower than that.
The top of the nose or the bottom of the nose? Your point.
I think it went right in the middle. So cheat it whichever direction you need to go. If you need to go up a little bit to give yourself more room underneath, do that. Yeah, I measured it like this, and it was like that right smack in the middle. So you got a little wiggle room for that. Same thing here. If I measure here, and then I go down, it's like right about there. In the middle. This wolf's face is, he's turned just a teeny weeny bit, but we're just not going to worry about that. It's close enough so it doesn't really matter. All right, let me make sure, let's see. So you can see these lines. Oh yeah, I started out with gray just because it's a nice light color and it goes with the fur color, but it's not so dark that you can't correct it. You know, I can color over that and make changes if I need to. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is underneath his nose, see how there's this little bit of snout that runs right under here? Just a little bit, okay? Right below his nose, maybe like right here, kind of make a little smile like that. It's actually going to look like a smile, okay? But don't go any farther than that. All right? A little bit wider than the nose, not necessarily a lot, but kind of like that. And then your nose, just like a person's nose, your eyes and your nose are right connected. So the line for the snout is going to go right to the inside of the eye, right like that. Okay? Does that make sense? You with me?
Yep.
Okay. Good job. It's coming together. Okay. Now what I want to do is that, remember we made the rainbow only went to about even with the eyes, but it actually, especially you can see it on this side, it actually goes down a little bit lower, about to the top of the nose. So find the top of your wolf's nose, and what I want you to do is kind of make a little furry line that goes out to the side on both sides like this. And then you can kind of connect, bring that down, bring that rainbow down. And if you make it a little sketchy like this, that'll help to make it look furry. And, you know, when you're drawing hair or fur, if you draw the, well, I guess not brush strokes, but your lines in the direction that the fur grows, it'll make more sense. If you scribble around in circles all over, it's not going to be the same as if you make the little lines like that. So we'll do the same thing here. I'm going from about the top of the nose, and I'm going to sketch over like this. And then I'm going to bring this one down to meet it. Okay? The other thing is that even though it has this rainbow shape, it almost is a diamond. Can you see it? If this were a little pointier, sometimes I draw it like that and they're very pointy, but okay. So right down here, this white fur comes together underneath his chin in sort of a triangle spot. It's going to go off the page, I think. But start out here and bring a line that, or a sketchy little line that comes down like this, and the same thing here. They're going to come in towards each other. All right. Let's see. All right, good. The other thing is that most dogs don't really have much of a neck. Okay, he has a chest and a little bit of a neck, but not a lot. So what you're going to see is that his back comes, it's almost where his eye is. So way up by his eye, you're going to make a line that comes off to the side for his back. Same thing down here. All right.
Oh, Gwyneth is watching.
Gwyneth?
Gwyneth.
Wow. Probably Halsey and Porter. Maybe Gwyneth is painting too. Or drawing too. That'd be so fun. Okay. All right. So we've got it sketched out. If you have a serious problem, change it. If you made one eye popping out of the head and one teeny little slit eye, and you don't like it that way, then make the bigger one smaller. That'll work. It's harder to make the bigger one bigger, or make it, make a crisscross over it and look like a dog that's been in a fight. You had to have a scar. Okay, let's color. So what I want to do first is the yellow. That's what I want to do. Pick whatever color you want to do for his eyes, and go ahead and put that in there. I'm going to use the kind of ochre color, kind of a brownish yellow. You could use yellow, you can use green, you can use blood red if you want. You do whatever is your thing. So I'm going to color those in. If I'm down here, what I'm going to wind up doing is smudging this just a little bit. Okay? The other place is, if you don't have a lot of colors, I'm choosing today to just kind of use what comes in the box of 16 pastels. So there's not a lot of different shades of tan and beige and that kind of stuff. So, but he's a little bit golder and a little bit on the snout. So I'm going to take this, not a lot, but a little bit, and I'm going to bring a little bit of gold on the top of his snout. If we separate the colors on the top of his nose a little bit from the same, having it be a little different than what's other places, it also helps to bring the nose, make it stick out off his face. All right. So then what I want to do is go ahead with some of the black things. Okay. So I'm going to do his eyes first, I guess. So there's a little line that goes around his eye, but there's a little piece that kind of goes out to the side like this. All right. And then you're going to go around in the inside. And I am going to give this dog he's going to be looking not dog, wolf, a little bit to the side. Like that, okay? You give him a nice, dose of black around here. He also has a little piece that kind of comes along the snout a little bit, comes down that way a little, okay? When you do the nose, if you leave a little sliver of white near the top, when you're coloring that in, it'll start to make it look a little shiny. All right? So go ahead and do that part. And hold on to the black. We're going to do a few more things with the black. I'll do it down here. So with this, same thing. if this is the first time you're listening, or watching, you might want. You could even do this with just a black marker or a black, just one black pastels or something if you're not just that into using a bunch of different colors. But if you're using a pencil or a charcoal, you're looking for soft letter or charcoal, and those are the B's. So ideally you're looking for a 2B, a 4B, or a 6B to do the coloring, because it will help you to get some nice blacks. And if you can get nice blacks, then you can get a little range of gray by using an eraser. Okay? This is a great pencil to get if you can. It's a Prismacolor Ebony, and they're really inexpensive. I know it's a little tricky to get a hold of things right now, but some places, craft stores are actually driving to your car, so you could get one then. And they're like $1 or something. This was one I took from Timmy, and it's like a carpenter pencil, right?
Yep.
And it has a nice soft lead too, so that works really well. And I was saying before that I used to steal bowling pencils when I was in high school. Of course, they don't even have pencils at bowling alleys now, but they were great. They were very big, fat, soft leaded pencil, and I would steal those, and I would do some drawing. So it was kind of like an illegal drawing, because that was, Okay, let's do the mouth. So the mouth is, if you want to make him with a big smile on his face, you do it. But it's very, if you want to make it look a little more like this, it's very, very close to his nose. There's a little tiny line that connects the mouth to the nose, okay? And then what you do is you just a little bit, and then just bring that all the way to the side of his snout, like this, okay? It becomes like his jowls, all right? And then this one, he has just kind of a little dark, a little extra. You could color it in a little light. That's how his looks kind of in this picture. I don't know if you can see that or not, but. And then the same thing down here. So that little bit, and then bring that over the side. All right. And I'm gonna smudge just a little bit underneath his nose, because this is a little bit in shadow. All right, and I may have to touch it up a little bit after that. All right. Good? We're doing good? We're doing well?
Yep.
Okay. I bet my mom's out there watching too. Hey, Mama. If she could figure it out.
Holly Shaw is.
She's doing pretty well. Who?
Holly Shaw.
Oh, great. Hey, Holly, how are you? Okay, so we're moving right along here. Now we're going to put a little bit of black on his fur. And the little trick to that, if you're not sure, it's confusing, is to squint your eyes at this photograph, and it will help you to see where the black bits are. Because there's a lot of, there's black in here, but it's nowhere near as black right here as it is kind of between his eyes, in his ears, this little bit over that way, the back of his coat. Okay? So we'll go a little lighter with our black here, and we'll also add in a little bit of brown or white and gray, that kind of thing, on part of his forehead. So don't go crazy on that part, unless you're running out of patience and you just do what you need to do. So I'm going to take my black one, and he does have a little bit of lighter right around his eyes. So if you can stay a little bit away from that, and we'll bring this up a little bit, maybe a little bit on top of his nose, and over this way on the side. Did you hang up?
Yeah.
Okay. My son's calling. All right, and then on his ear, kind of like right along the bottom. Again, I'm pretty sure I've told him that this is what I'm doing at 1 o'clock. Somehow, I guess it's not important enough for him to remember.
Doing video.
All right, a little in the ear. This one doesn't have any, but I'm gonna put a little bit in there anyway. Okay, and there's sort of a connection from this little bit on his eye out here. All right, maybe down on the sides a little bit. Okay. All right, and I'm going to do that down here. So actually, in case you were wondering, I started teaching art lessons when my son Calvin went to kindergarten. He's my youngest. I have 4 kids. He's my youngest. And he's now 20. So I've been doing this for about 15 years. And, it's fun. I went to Rhode Island School of Design where I got an illustration degree. I have illustrated one book. It's called The Fishing Trip. And it's about a fishing trip on Lake Millinocket in Maine. That's where I am here.
Millinocket Lake.
Millinocket Lake. I always say it wrong. Millinocket Lake. Well, okay. All right. So let's see. Is that where we need it dark? Oh, here on the top of the nose a little bit. Maybe a little side to side here. But there's definitely lighter around on his snout here. So don't go crazy about that. If you're using different colors, works great. How's that? Probably smudge this in a little bit. I think we're getting there. The other thing so I was going to smudge this a little bit, and people are leery of charcoal because they think it just makes a big mess and you can't erase it, so you can't control it. But you actually can erase it. So you can get a little kneaded eraser, which looks like this when it gets used, or you can have a little just, regular old eraser or one stuck on the back of your pencil. And so I could smudge this a little bit, and then maybe I take a little of the white back here, maybe a little bit on the cheeks here. All right. All right, so I want to go a little bit darker on his forehead. All right. So on my color one, I might take a little, maybe a little bit of brown. I'm trying to stay a little bit away from around the eyes because that's a little bit lighter area. And maybe a little more gray, which is in my hand. There we go. Okay. It's got kind of a beige color to the white in his ears, but I think I'll just use the gray for that. All right. And a little gray on this bit on his nose. Maybe a little grayer out here. The other thing you can do, it sometimes people think it's useless, like what do you need white for when you're going to use white paper, but this can help you sort of blend things. So even if I bring the little white in around his eyes, it kind of smudges a little bit. Maybe bring that on part of his ear. Ooh. Okay. All right. I might even put it here because his fur has got a little bit of shadow to it. It's not pure white. Okay, maybe in here. This'll, if I use it down here, that'll smudge this black a little bit, like it looks like on the charcoal drawing. All right. Okay. Looking pretty good. Let's do the back. Let's do some background. We'll call it good. So, to make this white show up on the side of his fur, to have this have a contrast there, we want to color our black like right up along that line, right here, kind of jig-jaggedy. All right. He's got a little lighter fur down here, but so just start close to the face. What do you call that around the? I should ask Gwyneth. She'll know. Fur around the neck.
Mane.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think that's what it is.
A lion.
I did learn that Veronica's dog has bloomers. What's it called again? What's she have?
I don't know. Bloomers, I guess.
No, what's the dog called? What's the dog?
Oh, I cute.
What a cute dog. It's kind of like a mini collie. What's it called? I don't know. I'm blanking out. But anyway, the fluff around its butt is called bloomers. Thought that was funny. Okay. There we go. We got that wolf. We'll do a little same thing down here. You know, if you're wherever you got to put, where the place you have to put the most effort is right next to the face, and then you can kind of get less. All right. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to do a little bit with the background, but you can finish that background on your own, and then I would love to see what you come up with. I'm going to go with this autumn theme. Same thing that I did here with the black, I want to do over here with a darker color, whatever I choose, okay? But I'm going to go right up next to the fur, and I'm going to fill this in. And then what we are doing is creating a contrast. It's kind of like if you're coloring, we do this a lot with painting, is that we're here in Maine, so we do a lot of paintings with snow. And the idea that you really can't show snow if your paper is white. You're just making little white circles on there. Although sometimes it is kind of like that. But so we'll paint, even if it's maybe even a real light shade of gray, and then we can put the snow on top, or maybe a night dark blue sky, so we can put it in the nighttime. We'll put the little white spots on here. So the same thing is happening here. If we want to make the white important, then we have to color everything else. If you don't care, then you don't have to color it all. But this is a great time to pick a few different colors. I might color a little bit lighter at some point, and then start on that and color a little bit over it, so I have two shades. It's always fun to blend a couple of colors. If you blend every single color you have, maybe not so great, but two colors, always interesting to see how that comes out. All right. So these videos after this, they're on my Facebook page, Valerie Wallace Fine Arts, and I also have a playlist on YouTube, which if you went to free drawing classes with Valerie Wallace Fine Arts, and then maybe playlist, they should come up, and there'll just be a big list, and there's little pictures, so you can kind of pick and decide which ones you're interested in doing. Unless you're somebody who just loves to try new things, and then you can just try them all. And if you're interested in making a donation for as little as $1, you can go to Valerie Wallace finearts.com and click on the ticket page, and you'll see a picture of me, and you can leave one there. And thank you so much for those people that have helped me out.
Shetland.
Shetland!
Marianne told you that.
But it's not a Shetland sheepdog, is it?
It's a mini, right? Or
Yeah.
I don't know. Something like that. She's right. She's a
right.
librarian. She should know.
She's a librarian. Librarians know everything. Yeah, so if you want to leave me a donation, that's great. And people who have done that, very, very sweet, warms my heart. People are being very generous. I don't want to cry because... but I might, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. All right, because I am lucky to have something to use up my days, because, we're all looking for something to keep us busy. How's that look? Am I done, Tim?
Looks good.
Good? Okay. Send me your pictures. I would love to see them. Okay? Oh, here, let me say. Here's Timmy's. So proud. He needs this for his calendar that he makes for his mom every year. Okay, you can push done.